to the Movie Sellers Month of Horrors, Terrors Through Time. My name is Dan, and I am here to give you my last pick for the month, my 2020's pick. I hope that you guys have had a great time with us throughout the month. I have had an awesome time making these. I've had an awesome time watching Jack and Chris's videos. They've inspired me to watch a bunch more films, and it's just been a really good time. So make sure that you go check our podcast out, The Movie Seller, wherever you listen to podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, is that a thing? I don't know. Google Podcast. I don't know where people listen to podcasts. The point is we have one out there, and on October 31st, we're going to be doing a recap episode of all of our Month of Horrors picks. We're going to talk about what we liked, what we didn't like. We're going to talk about the progress of horror throughout, the 100 years that we've covered, and it's just gonna be a good time. Me, Chris, and Jack getting together and talking about these films. So, with that said, let's get on to our 2020's pick. I did Late Night with the Devil, which I believe was released in 2023, but made it here to the States in 2024. It was directed by the Cairns brothers. I don't really know them, but really, this is a very hot movie right now. A lot of strong opinions about it, and so it was one that I had to check out. It stars David, I don't know how to say his name, and I literally just looked up how to pronounce it. David Dastmalchian. I knew him as Polka Dot Man from Suicide Squad. He's been in a few things that you might have seen him in. It also stars a girl named Ingrid Torelli. She was fantastic in this movie. It gets a 97 from critics on Rotten Tomatoes and an 81 from audiences. I was actually kind of surprised by the audience score. I thought that might be a little more mixed. Maybe in the 60s, because I've just heard a lot of people, I don't know. I've heard a lot of people really like it. I've heard a lot of people kind of think it sucks. So I was surprised to see generally positive reviews, both from the critics and the audiences. I'm going to get into the plot, so fair warning. This is all spoiler territory. I didn't do this for my 1930s pick, because that movie was 90-something years old. But I'm going to do it for my 2020s pick because this movie just came out this year. So maybe you haven't had a chance to see it. So if you want to see it, you hadn't had a chance yet, you might want to skip this part of the episode. But we have this late night setup. So we're going to get into it. We have this late night talk show setup where, the guy has struggled over, the course of his career to really get this show on its feet, to get it popular. It's never really become the number one show, although it is well loved. It's kind of second, third tier. And so it looks like he's kind of gonna bottom out. His wife has died of breast cancer. And they played all that on the show. You feel like maybe, a little icky about it. Like maybe it was a little exploitative of what she was going through. But that's kind of the sort of undertone of the whole film of how are we going to exploit these very serious things to get better ratings on television? Because it's from the 70s or whatever, where television ratings were everything, right? So they're going to have a big Halloween special, and they're going all out on this big Halloween special because it might be the last thing that they ever do. So they have a guy on who can talk to dead people, and he comes out, they kind of do their shtick, but it starts to get a little weird, and he's freaking out. And then they cut to commercial. They come back, he's just sitting there, he's calmed down a little bit. I should note that in the movie, when they cut to commercial, it goes to sort of hand cameras or not official film cameras, or not official TV cameras, but when the show is airing, the footage is from the show. So I think technically this is a found footage movie, but it doesn't really feel like one, in the same vein as Blair Witch or Cloverfield. But it is a little bit different from the camera perspective. So anyway, in between, like when they're on commercial break, they're like, "Dude, are you okay?" He's like, "I'm okay." They're cleaning him up and stuff. They get him some water. He's like coughing. He's kind of having a coughing fit and having trouble. And then when they come back from commercial, he's up there. They bring in the skeptic who's supposedly like he's gonna give people money if they can, do something supernatural that he can't disprove. Then the dude who talks to dead people starts like freaking out, and he starts puking up like black. They cut to commercial again. They get him out of there, and they get him to in an ambulance. They come back. Now you have this woman who's there with a girl, and the girl supposedly has like a demon living inside of her, and they're going to get that demon to come out. And so they strap her down, and they get the demon to come out, and it's like she's levitating and she's like freaking out. Her face is getting all nasty. And then they're like to the skeptic, "Well, what do you think about that?" Well, so now the skeptic goes, "Oh, it's just hypnosis." He has somebody else come sit down. He hypnotizes him and like the audience and the home viewers or whatever into thinking that he's got like worms like ripping out of his chest, right? Then they go back and play the footage of the worms and all that and realize nothing happened. We were all just hypnotized. Well, then he goes, "Well, why don't we go back and watch the footage of, the girl?" They do, and it's all still there. And so they're like, "Well, what about this?" He's like, "I don't know. It's got to be some kind of trick." And anyway, ultimately, the demon comes out and like kills everybody and like goes like supernova or whatever. I don't know. They don't call it that in the movie, but it's like it gets crazy. The thing with this movie is like it's got a lot. It's very cool. Like it looks very cool. It's got a really great vibe to it, but like nothing, like really nothing happens until like the last 20 minutes of the movie. So it's very slow, and it's like, it's a lot of just form over function, in my opinion. It's just a lot of like, oh, this looks really cool. This is a really cool vibe, but like nothing's really happening. And so that was my like one kind of, that was the thing I didn't love about it. But that last 20 minutes is like balls out crazy. So I will give it that. Is it a scary movie? I don't know. It's fun. It's definitely a fun movie. It's like fun, scary, but not really scary. Is it a good Halloween movie? I mean, this is a great Halloween movie. This absolutely fits. I mean, they're doing a late night show on Halloween. It's a possession movie. You got demons. You got all of this great stuff going on. So for sure, a good Halloween movie. Now, lastly, what my rating is on it, I'm going to give this one, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Like, I thought it was really good. I thought it was really well executed, well made. Like, I loved the 70s aesthetic of it. I thought the acting was fantastic. I thought the story was cool. It just dragged too much for me personally. And, like, just even though the last 20 minutes was really wild and like really cool, it kind of just made me wish that there was like more of that earlier in the movie, as opposed to like being like, oh my god, that was such a great payoff. So 6 out of 10, really cool movie, really well made, really well acted, but it's a little slow, so be prepared for that if you're kind of sitting down to get into something scary. So that's it, guys. That's my 2020s pick, Late Night with the Devil. If you've seen it, let me know what you think. Drop something in the comments, or you can hit us up on Instagram or Facebook at The Movie Cellar, and let us know, if you've seen this or any of the movies we've talked about over the month, and you think our opinions are like crazy off or whatever. I also really quick need to shout out two of my daughters. Lily did the art that we have on the title cards for each of the episodes, the cool like pumpkin with the month of horrors, and like there's, if you look close, there's like really cool scenes there's like 6 really cool panels behind the pumpkin, which are cool, like horror-ish type scenes. Beautiful art. Lily's an amazing artist, so huge shout out to her. Also, big shout out to my daughter Gracie and her friends who performed the intro and outro music, which is their version of Thriller that they performed. She plays trumpet, and she has her friend, I think a saxophone player, and a percussionist that are all playing with her on that. I love that the two of them did that for me a couple years ago. The two of them made a promo video for my month of horrors, the first season I did it, and so I like keeping them tied in, and I really appreciate both of them sharing their talents with us for the show. And yeah, I like bragging them up because they make really cool stuff. And so anyway, that's it. I hope you guys come back for Chris and Jack's 2020s pick, and I hope you go check out the podcast that we're going to drop on Halloween, where we go over all of our picks and what we thought of the month of horrors. If you have any thoughts about it, let us know. We'll share that on the Halloween episode. So until then, bye.